Welcome back to another episode of the Modernist Guide. Once again, we have a film review. This time it is the new Disney animated feature for the holiday season, Encanto. And first thoughts are just that Encanto is a very sweet, loving, affectionate, and wonderful mixed bag. It's really hard to look at Encanto and not look at Disney's legacy first in a lot of ways. Disney has finally, for whatever reason, marketing or maybe one person in the whole company has a genuine desire to show diversity and give people more non-white perspective and perception on screen. However, this is still written and directed mostly by Jared Bush and Brian Howard, two white dudes. Jared Bush has kind of been the go-to diversity worker for this pretty much. He's done Zootopia, which is about tolerance even though it's using animals. He did Moana. He worked on Ray and the Last Dragon, and now this. While Brian Howard's been around since Pocahontas, which I guess that means he learned from it, maybe. But he's done something one way or another as a storyboard artist or creative director since Pocahontas. So they have a lot between them. They've both worked together on Moana and Zootopia, and then independently on other things. Additional screenplay writing is with Charisse Castro Smith, who is Cuban American. So there is, at least in the writing perspective of Latino community, Encanto is specifically a family with magical gift in Colombia and how they deal with the community and people that they're responsible for protecting and nurturing throughout an entire legacy. And you have the grandmother to start with, and then there's a magical house, and everyone has a mystical gift except one, Mirabelle. And it kind of starts with her, but then there's also another character who, I guess, spoilers in a way if you haven't seen it, played by John Leguizamo. Bruno is the son of grandmother who leaves and people have a negative outlook on him, and he kind of adds to what is trying to be portrayed as like the softest family discourse you could have. And maybe that's my perspective of seeing like all these other family movies that are mostly portrayed by white people, but it's family get-togethers that are always super dysfunctional and arguing and saying things that we regret and just bad stuff like that. But here, Disney kind of diverts away from its traditionalism with no real villain to speak of. It is all about the family discourse, but the discourse isn't very heavy. It's like, oh, this is the fighting that leads to this house dying and you guys losing your powers, because that's like a main feature, and I think that was in the trailer too. So no real spoilers there. But so it's just family resolving issues. It's what it is, but it's not very extreme or intense, and I'm not sure what the point of that is. If it's supposed to be that family can get through no matter what, should there be a little more discourse? There's some chaos, and there's, I guess, there's inciting incidents, but there's no like heavy real reason for inciting incidents here. So I'm not 100% sure. It's also only an hour and 30 minutes, 38 minutes, something like that. They could have used an extra 20, 25, I think, give more family members more songs, because Maribel, who is played by Stephanie Britz, she gets a song, and then her two sisters get songs, and they show their personalities and what they actually want to do with the family that they're not actually doing. But I don't think it's hit its home as much. I think Abuela, the grandmother, should have had a song. Her daughter, who specifically the one that is Maribel's mom, should have had a song, because I think we didn't get enough of like the whole family is kind of acting perfect when they don't want to be and they want to do something else, and that's the real issue, is keeping things from your family can tear it apart. We don't really get that. It's not that extreme, it's not that to the point, and I think it should be to really drive home that no matter what you go through, family can stick together and belong and care and love each other regardless. The revolution just kind of happens because they mend things. It's kind of a little too fast, and it's like, why did they even really fight? It's hard for me, I think personally, to really know what it's wanting to do with itself overall. I think it needed more time. I think it feels a little rushed. And I think about all the controversy and issues with Coco that Disney had, where the story was allegedly stolen from a Mexican family, I believe, and never given credit or anything like that. So Disney needs to do a lot more work than they do, and Encanto, in a lot of ways, felt like such a safe idea without trying a little harder to give more nuance and agency to an entire culture. Or maybe not, I don't know. I'm going to be a little harsh and give it a 5.5 out of 10 because while I think it's all the perfect beats of a Disney film and also gets away from the traditionalism of like 70 years of having a villain and it just being internal struggles more and more, and they're trying to be creative with that, and so they are switching up on the storytelling style. It also somehow feels simultaneously doing that, trying new things, and running out of ideas. And part of that might be that Brian Howard's been there for going on 30 years now and maybe get more than just these well trusted go to white guys to portray this and not just one single Cuban writer as just a co-writing credit, not even full writing credit. There's more that could be done that they haven't done. So it is a good, fun, enjoyable film, but it's also Disney's like 90th animated feature. So what are you really gonna do? That's really it though. Like, share, subscribe, and if not, as always, just thank you for listening. Have a good night.